mind is the most powerful tool you possess. And just as we maintain the body, we must take care of our thoughts. A mind filled with negative patterns and toxic thoughts cannot lead you to success or peace. To unlock the potential of your mind and create space for clarity, it is crucial to first remove the clutter and toxicity in the next few moments. Hey Kay, Redder, I will share with you 5 powerful things that, when practiced, will detox your mind and allow you to operate at your highest potential. These principles are not just theories. They are life-changing habits that have been proven to transform lives. When applied, these practices will help you clear the fog, regain focus, and build a foundation for lasting success. In today's world, the mind is constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and distractions. From the moment we wake up to the time we go to bed, we are surrounded by external noisy social media updates, news headlines, and the expectations of those around us. But the most dangerous noise isn't external. It's the internal chatter in our minds. Not every thought that arises is beneficial or true. Many of our thoughts are simply products of our environment, our past experiences, or our fears. They may seem urgent or important in the moment, but in reality, they may be irrelevant or even harmful to our mental well-being. The first step in detoxing your mind is to recognize this noise for what it truly is. Thoughts that don't serve you, you must acknowledge that not every thought that pops into your head is worthy of your attention. Whether it's self-doubt, worries about the future, or random distractions, these thoughts are simply noise that clouds your judgment and steals your peace. Take a moment to ask yourself, is this thought serving me or draining me? When you start to ask this question regularly, you begin to separate the noise from the true signals. It's not about suppressing thoughts, but rather about choosing to focus on the ones that align with your goals, values, and purpose. This awareness is the foundation of mental clarity. Once you recognize that some thoughts are just distractions, you empower yourself to disregard them. By giving less attention to negative or irrelevant thoughts, you make space for more productive, empowering, and positive ones. Recognizing the noise doesn't mean eliminating all thoughts. It means gaining control over which thoughts you allow to influence your mood and actions. You don't need to react to every thought that comes your way. Instead, practice creating a mental filter, one that sifts through the noise and lets only the thoughts that align with your purpose and well-being remain. Remember, the mind is a garden. If you allow every thought to take root, both the beneficial and the toxic will grow. By learning to recognize the noise, you start to clear out the weeds and create space for the flowers of peace, clarity, and focused action to flourish. The more you practice recognizing the noise, the easier it becomes to maintain mental clarity throughout your day. You'll find that your mind becomes less cluttered and more focused, and as a result, your ability to make decisions, solve problems, and approach life with confidence will improve. So, the next time you feel overwhelmed by a flurry of thoughts, take a pause. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me or draining me? In that moment, you take back control of your mind, giving yourself the clarity to focus on what truly matters. Our inner dialogue has a powerful influence on our mental state. The way we talk to ourselves shapes how we see ourselves and the world around us. If your inner dialogue is filled with negativity, self-criticism, and harsh judgments, it's no surprise that your mind feels cluttered and overwhelmed. These toxic thoughts erode your self-esteem and prevent you from seeing your true potential. Term is a say. Many be very be. The Torsen test. The second step in detoxing your mind is to declutter this inner dialogito. Replace harsh, thick-cutter, judgmental self-talk with words of compassion and understanding. The way you speak to yourself matters, perhaps more than any other conversation you have. Consider this. When you make a mistake or face a setback, how do you speak to yourself? Do you berate yourself, saying, I always mess up? Or do you acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and remind yourself that it's okay? When we engage in negative self-talk, we are often repeating thoughts and patterns from the past patterns that have no place in our present reality. This is where the real power of mental detox comes in. By changing how you talk to yourself, you change how you feel about yourself and how you approach the world. Time. 1. Zang. Instead of telling yourself, I'm a failure, try telling yourself, I made a mistake. And that's okay. This subtle shift allows room for growth and forgiveness. Mistakes aren't failures, they are opportunities for learning. When you stop judging yourself harshly, you free yourself from the mental weight of perfectionism and self-criticism. Speak to yourself like you would to someone you love. Deep pipe cause. You deserve that kind of kindness. If a friend came to you feeling discouraged after a setback, would you call them a failure? Would you criticize them? Of course not. You would reassure them, offer them comfort, and remind them of their worth. You would help them see their potential. And that's exactly how you should treat yourself. Decluttering your inner dialogue doesn't mean ignoring the truth or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about replacing harsh judgments with gentle truth. By acknowledging your flaws with kindness, you allow yourself to be human. You accept that mistakes are part of the journey and that they don't define you. The shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. It allows you to detach from negative thought patterns that only hold you back. It opens the door to self-compassion, a crucial element of mental detox. When you treat yourself with kindness, you create a positive, nurturing environment inside your Minda space where growth, healing, and clarity can take root. As you begin to practice this new inner dialogue, you'll find that you feel lighter, more confident, and more equipped to handle life's challenges. The more you replace negative self-talk with words of encouragement and understanding, the more you'll cultivate a mindset that is resilient, peaceful, and focused. So, the next time you find yourself spiraling into harsh self-criticism, take a moment to pause. Gently replace those negative thoughts with loving, empowering statements. Speak to yourself with the compassion and care that you would offer to someone you hold dear. Just as the food we eat directly affects our physical health, the information we consume affects the health of our minds. The people, media, and content we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on our thoughts, emotions, and overall mental clarity. Yet, many of us mindlessly expose ourselves to negativity, gossip, and unnecessary drama without considering the long-term effect it has on our mental space. Adversative. Airy laugher. How? Or the third step in detoxing your mind is to limit the mental junk intake. This means being highly selective about what you feed your mind, just as you would be careful about what you feed your body. Everything you consume, Heather, it's the news, social media, or even conversations affects your mental health and well-being. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, fear, or drama, you're essentially poisoning your mental environment. Ask yourself, what are you following on social media? What kind of news do you consume? What types of conversations are you engaging in daily? Are they bringing you peace, growth, and clarity? Or are they draining your energy and adding unnecessary stress? It's time to take control of your mental diet. Start by unfollowing accounts that spread negativity, envy, or drama. Mute the sources of stress, such as accounts that focus on sensationalism or anything that stirs up anxiety or anger. Protect your mental health by curating a digital and real-life environment that supports peace and growth rather than chaos and conflict. It's not about being ignorant or avoiding reality. It's about consciously choosing to focus on content that enriches your life, inspires you, and promotes positivity. Curate your feed with accounts that motivate you, that educate you, and that reflect the kind of mindset you want to cultivate. Take a step back from drama, Heather. It's online or in your personal life. Drama, gossip, and negativity only create unnecessary mental clutter, distracting you from your higher purpose. By distancing yourself from these sources of stress, you can preserve your mental energy and focus on what truly matters. Limiting mental junk intake also means setting boundaries with people who constantly bring negativity into your life. You don't have to engage in every conversation or entertain every argument. Instead, learn to protect your peace by walking away from situations that drain your mental resources. When you consciously choose what you consume, you create a more peaceful, focused, and clear-minded life. Your thoughts become aligned with your true intentions and goals. The more you detox your mind from mental junk, the more space you create for new ideas, creativity, and personal growth. Remember, peace doesn't come from the external world, rather, it comes from within. By curating your environment, both digital and physical, you take the first step toward creating a life filled with mental clarity, joy, and purpose. In a world filled with constant demands, distractions, and emotional triggers, it's easy to forget that our energy is limited. Every day, we make countless decisions about where to direct our time, attention, and emotions. But not everything that happens around us deserves our reaction. And not every situation demands our emotional investment. The fourth step in detoxing your mind is to protect your energy. The energy we put into something, whether it's a thought, a conversation, or an event, determines how it impacts us. You can choose to engage with certain things, but you must recognize that you don't have to react to everything. The key to peace is in discerning what is worth your time and energy and what isn't. The first principle of protecting your energy is realizing that not everything needs your reaction. Many of the things that trigger you as negative comments, unexpected challenges, or stressful situations are often outside of our control. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you respond to them. The more you practice emotional restraint, the more you protect your peace. Imagine this. You're faced with a stressful situation, perhaps an argument or an unforeseen setback. Your immediate instinct may be to react emotionally, to engage in the drama, or to let the negativity consume you. But in that moment, you have a choice. You can decide not to engage. By not reacting, you free yourself from the emotional turmoil that comes with those external triggers. One of the most powerful ways to protect your energy is by being mindful of what you give your time, thoughts, and emotions to. Just as you wouldn't allow toxic substances into your body, don't allow toxic people or situations into your emotional space. If a conversation or a situation is draining you or making you anxious, it may be time to step back and protect your peace. It's also crucial to set boundaries, whether it's with family, friends, or colleagues. Learn to say no when necessary. You don't have to be available for every conversation or situation that comes your way. Prioritize your mental and emotional well-being over other people's demands or the latest drama. In doing so, you will start to recognize that peace is found in the things you choose not to engage with. The more you protect your energy, the more peace and clarity you create in your life. It's not about avoiding challenges or ignoring important matters. It's about choosing to engage only with those things that align with your values and goals. Every time you choose not to react, you strengthen your mental resilience. You take back your power, and in doing so, you create a space for peace, focus, and joy to enter. The act of protecting your energy is not selfish. It is essential. It's about nurturing yourself so that you can show up as your best self in all areas of life. By learning to protect your energy, you protect your mental health, your happiness, and your ability to stay focused on what truly matters. The more you practice this, the more you'll find that your mind becomes a sanctuarium where only the things that nurture and support you are allowed to enter. In a world that constantly demands our attention, stillness often feels like a luxury, something we can't afford. Yet, it is in stillness that we find some of the most powerful tools for mental detoxification. Constant noise, whether external or internal, can cloud our judgment and prevent us from accessing the clarity we need to make decisions, solve problems, and find peace. The fifth step in detoxing your mind is to practice stillness. In the hustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in the chaos of tasks, obligations, and distractions. But without moments of stillness, our minds remain cluttered, leaving little room for clarity, creativity, or focus. Taking quiet breaks throughout the dynophone. No noise, just UIs, a simple yet powerful practice. These breaks allow your mind to reset, release tension, and regain balance. The world around you may be moving at a fast pace, but in stillness, you create the space to simply check in with yourself and let go of the pressures of the outside world. One of the best ways to cultivate stillness is through meditation. Even just a few minutes of mindful breathing or guided meditation can bring profound changes to your mental state. Meditation quiets the noise in your mind, helping you to reconnect with your inner peace and gain perspective. If meditation isn't your style, deep breathing is another powerful tool. By focusing on your breath and slowing down your breathing pattern, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax and clear your mind. Stillness also doesn't require a structured practice like meditation or breathing exercises. Sometimes it's simply about sitting in silence, free from the distractions of screens, people, and to-do lists. The quiet offers you the chance to listen to the deeper rhythms of your mind. And it's in this space that clarity often arises. It's in the stillness that you can hear your true thoughts, your intuition, and your inner wisdom. Many people try to outrun their thoughts, believing that staying busy will prevent stress and uncertainty. But in reality, this busyness only perpetuates the mental clutter. Clarity often comes when you're still enough to hear it. When you allow your mind the space to slow down, you can think more clearly, make better decisions, and tap into a deeper level of creativity. The beauty of stillness lies in its simplicity. You don't need to escape the world or retreat to a mountain to experience it. You can practice stillness in small moments throughout the day, during a lunch break, before going to bed, or even during your morning routine. The key is to intentionally carve out time to be quiet, to tune into yourself, and to let your mind rest. Stillness is not an escape. It's a return to your center. It is where you find peace amidst the chaos, where you gather your strength, and where you reconnect with your purpose. By making stillness a part of your routine, you can detox your mind from the constant noise and distraction of daily life and begin to create the mental space needed for growth, focus, and clarity. As we create space in our minds, one of the most powerful practices we can adopt is the ability to unfollow the thoughts that make you feel small. Just as we curate our social media feeds to support peace, positivity, and growth, we must also curate our inner dialogue. Our thoughts have a profound impact on how we perceive ourselves, and if we continue to follow thoughts that diminish our self-worth, we limit our potential. Many of us unknowingly follow thoughts that make us feel inadequate, insecure, or defeated. These thoughts often stem from past failures, external criticisms, or societal expectations. This began cool, but just like you would unfollow negative accounts or sources of stress in your life, you must make a conscious effort to stop giving attention to thoughts that no longer serve you. When you unfollow these thoughts, you take back control. You stop allowing them to dictate your emotions or limit your actions. You acknowledge them, but you don't give them your energy. You choose to replace them with thoughts that empower you, that lift you up, and that align with your higher self. This is where stillness becomes so important. It's in these quiet moments, free from the noise and distractions, that you begin to see your thoughts clearly. You can sift through them and recognize which ones truly belong in your mind and which ones you need to let go of. By practicing stillness, you create a space where you can calmly observe your thoughts without being swept away by them. This mental clarity helps you identify the patterns of negativity that have been running in the background of your mind, often without your conscious awareness. Stillness is the tool that allows you to hit the reset button to start fresh each day and to choose the thoughts that will guide you forward. You begin to unfollow the thoughts that make you feel small and replace them with those that align with your true potential. Remember, the power of stillness isn't in the silence itself, but in the clarity it brings. It's in these quiet moments that we regain perspective, realign with our purpose, and take the next steps toward a life filled with peace and purpose. Galleon willing drugs, trouble, and willing fame. One of the most profound realizations you can have in your journey toward mental detox is this: you don't have to believe every thought you think. So often, we think that every thought that crosses our mind holds some inherent truth. But the truth is, many of our thoughts are just mental noise passing through without any real value or substance. They come and go, sometimes without us even realizing that we've given them power over us. When you practice stillness, you create the space to observe these thoughts without judgment. In those moments of quiet, you allow yourself to simply be with your thoughts without reacting or becoming consumed by them. It's as though you step outside of the constant flow of mental chatter and gain the perspective needed to see which thoughts are worth holding on to and which ones are just fleeting distractions the processional like to avoid. By recognizing that some thoughts are merely passing through, you gain a sense of detachment from them. They no longer have the power to shape your reality or influence your emotions unless you allow them to. This understanding is liberating, as it gives you the freedom to choose which thoughts you engage with and which ones you let go of. This is a key part of mental detox. The realization that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are simply visitors in your mind. You are the one who decides whether or not to welcome them in, whether or not to give them attention. In moments of stillness, you learn to observe your thoughts with neutrality, without judgment, and without identifying with them. For example, when you feel a wave of self-doubt or negativity creeping in, instead of fully accepting it as truth, you can choose to see it as just a passing thought, a temporary feeling that does not define you. By practicing stillness, you give yourself the space to let those thoughts float by like clouds in the sky, rather than anchoring them in your mind. The more you practice this kind of mental detachment, the easier it becomes to live with greater peace and clarity. You no longer feel the need to react to every fleeting thought. Instead, you create a sense of calm awareness where you can decide how to respond with intention rather than being swept away by every mental wave that comes your way.